Hey everybody, happy Sunday night to you and yours. Guess what? We're back and we're live, the Bay Ragni show. And I have, wow, I've interviewed so many celebrities in the last 8 years, and I think I'm more excited to interview this guy than anybody else. This guy, I'm going to say honestly, he changed my life. What he did to Upper Darby and me as a young teenage kid, yeah, he changed my life, and he's going to share the stories of it. Let's welcome Mike Smith, who used to own with his brother the Balcony, which was a still to this day a store that me and my friends talk about, and still as now I'm 51 years old, and we still wish we can go to the Balcony. I mean, wow. And he recently wrote a book. It's called My View from the Balcony. And we're going to talk Upper Darby, the balcony, and the book and everything else. Mike, thank you for doing this and welcome to the show.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
How many times have you heard that? You've changed people's lives.
Well, everybody, if they see the shirt or they look at you and they think, oh, the balcony, and they think, God, that was like 50 years ago. And they still remember. And then when I put it out there, so many people wrote in and told me their stories. And it's exciting. It's really exciting.
It's so crazy. Like, and here's a funny thing too. Like, honest to God, beside personal reasons that you wrote the book, like I can't wait to read it. But like now it gives me the chance to talk to you again and interview you. And a question I wanted to ask you for years that used to drive me crazy and also like would anger me a little. And I want to see your feelings on it. In like the 90s and early 2000s, when Hot Topic became this whole thing, I was like, this is the balcony 30 something 40 years ago. Like where's Mike and everybody at now? This should have been the balcony, not Hot Topic.
No, well, and over through the years lately, a lot of people have said, oh, you should open the balcony again, or you should do another balcony, and it was just a magic time. I don't think it would work now. We were all different back then.
That's funny too, because that was something I wanted to ask you too. Like, did you ever think, you know, through the years of trying to reopen the store, and do you think it would work now?
Yeah. My best friend Claudia, we were married for 30 years. She'll say sometimes, her and her sister have mentioned you should do the balcony. You should do, especially in Westchester. There's a college area, and it would do good there. But it just wasn't easy. We did the balcony that just didn't pop on the street. We started in a loft. We only had about $1,800, and we slowly built it month after month, year after year. And then some people don't even remember the Terminal Square store; they just remember the Market Street store.
Yeah, I had no idea of those until I started seeing the stuff about the book, and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know that."
Yeah, we rented a loft off of a friend of ours. He opened the clothing store, and it was called the Habiliment. And he was friends with my brother and Jimmy Goodyear, our partner. And he said he would like to rent out that loft to somebody to have like hippie accessories for the hippie clothing he was selling. And my brother and Jimmy were both working full time as tool and die makers. So I came on and I opened the store every day until 5 o'clock. And then when they got out of their jobs, they came at 5 to 9 and ran the store till it closed. And it took us 3-4 years before they both could quit their job and come aboard.
Wow.
It was a real process. So
Now, like, it's funny because I think to myself, like what year was that? Like 1969 or so? That was, I think I saw.
April of '69. I was a senior in high school.
Wow.
The Vietnam War was going on. I had to go and get into community college because we opened up in April, and it felt like it was going to take off. So I got a student deferment. And it was really hard because I was working at night selling shoes. I don't know if you remember Bazaar of All Nations out in Clifton Heights.
I worked there like when I was like 19, 20. Yeah.
I worked what shop?
At the frame shop.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, I remember all those guys. Well, I was in the shoe store on the other end, and
Okay.
and I think I worked there from like 5:30 or 6 till 10 because that was the only place open to 10 every night, I believe. So it was a long day for me. I'd go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning, open the balcony at noon, run out and sell shoes until 10 o'clock. Plus, I had to keep a 3.5 average so I wouldn't get drafted. So
Oh.
it was real hard.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that's how that worked back then.
Oh yeah, yeah. You could if you got a student deferment, but you just didn't get a student deferment. You had to prove you were studying and doing well.
Wow.
Or they pulled you right out and took you.
Hmm.
So
So it's funny, like I picture like 1969, like you and your brother and the other guys, like sitting around, possibly smoking a joint, saying, "Hey, let's open a head shop to help get better paraphernalia for ourselves."
no, no. Well, I think at the time I might have been. I don't think my brother was doing many drugs, but at the time I was doing a lot of smoking pot and hash, some cocaine, and I think Jimmy was doing it too. But my brother was married. He had an infant child. He had just bought a
Wow.
duplex apartment house, and he was struggling to keep it up. And then when this opportunity came, um, he wanted to do it, but he couldn't do it alone, and Jimmy couldn't do it alone. So the three of us combined, and that's part of the opening of the book. I try to tell the story as true as I could remember it, and I also call it my view because everybody's got a different angle. And
Right.
I remembered we all chipped in $500. And then my sister-in-law said, no, we chipped in 350 each. And then when I got a hold of Jimmy in 2019, he said, no, we chipped in $700 each. So I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to tell a true story and I don't even know how much we chipped in. So, but I really think it must have been the 700 because as I'm writing it and remembering going to New York and buying all this stuff, we had to have more than 1,500 or 900 or whatever, but yeah, yeah, it wasn't easy.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Now,
We
now
were
where,
very lucky, very lucky.
so where did the actual name of the balcony come from? Because you guys were like on a loft, or
It was second story, was the balcony in the store. We
wow,
overlooked the clothing department.
wow.
Yeah. And then we were there. I think we might have been there half a year, maybe 8 months. And the store next door became empty.
Hmm.
And we thought, well, hey, we're doing really well. Let's take that whole store over. And we got a shock because we were paying Johnny, the guy who was doing the clothing store, we were paying him $300 a month rent. So when we went next door and called the landlord to find out what the store next door was running for, the whole store was running for 350. So, and I'm
Wow.
thinking, shit, we were getting ripped off, so we got a whole store, we moved everything over and we expanded everything. We had 2 pipe cases and, I think we had every brand of smoking papers. And then we had a balcony, now because all those stores in that
Right.
row were shaped the same. So we made that balcony our blacklight room. And we put all black lights on the ceiling and you go up there and all the
Oh,
lights were black light and they come down and tell us what number poster they wanted.
no
So
kidding. Now,
but we did.
how about the the infamous shirt that you're wearing? That like logo, like who designed that?
I can't remember. It really started on the bag
Right.
and then we started doing the shirt, but I honestly
And the
don't. Yeah,
matchbooks.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember. Now as it carried on, we played with it. I did a shirt for God, in the 80s, I did a Space Invaders, and it was the Space
Mhm.
Invaders around the balcony, and so we toyed with the actual design. But this very first one, I don't know.
It's fun,
Yeah.
I remember. So I probably started coming in the store. I'm probably going to guess probably late '70s. So I was, maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, and my mom would bring me in there to buy Kiss posters. And I just remember like being in awe, like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. And then she would drag me out. She's like, they sell drugs in there. You can't be in there. And she used, I just remember, like, as I started getting older and roaming around 69th Street myself, she would always say, "Don't go in the balcony. You're not allowed in the balcony." And I was like, okay. And that was the first place I went, was at a balcony.
Yeah, well, everybody thought we were selling drugs, and our mom worked for Lansdowne Police for 23 years.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
she just kept telling us, "Oh, they think you're selling drugs. They're going to raid you. You know, they're going to say, be careful, be careful." And she didn't really know what we were doing. So she just pictured the worst. You know, I kept saying, "Well, Mom, you know," but if I was doing anything, I left it in the car. You know, I thought, I figured, you know, I don't want to, you know, because there was three of us and I didn't want to ruin the whole deal, you know,
Right.
getting caught doing something. So, but yeah, it was, but yeah, we did our share of drugs. And there's a story I tell about on the corner, there's it's a 5-point intersection, and they used to have an island there where the cop would stand and direct the traffic all day long, and big guy, and we nicknamed him Captain America. And it got and it got to the point where when he would go by, he would give me a smile, and I thought, yeah, you want to come in and do a joint, don't you? You know, you get it. You know, you get it. It's like you just want to come in and, you know, have fun, and, you know, so. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it was
so
cool.
funny. That is so funny. Now, so how long were you guys at the Terminal Square location then?
To 75.
Okay.
So we were the 69 to 75. And that was a rough 75, 74, 75 was a horrible year for us. Granite Run Mall opened, Springfield Mall opened, and it took all the suburban traffic away from us. Our in profit and everything went down like 60%.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, we had to let people go. My sister-in-law had to get a job. My wife at the time was working, you know, so we were okay, but it was bad, and we didn't know what we were
Wow.
going to do. And then out of nowhere, Mr. McClatchy owned all of Upper Darby. He built
Yeah.
all the houses, and he came in our store. We used to call him Old Man McClatchy. He was the son of the original builder. It was John F. and John B. McClatchy, but he was the son, but he was still old, old guy, and he came in and he had been watching us, and he said Dial Shoe Store was going to become vacant on Market Street, and he wanted us to take it. And it's like, and at the time it was just me and Buzzy. We had bought Jimmy out a couple years before that, and it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I mean, because, you know, how do you move to, and this, it was like 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
We only, you know, it was like in a bad time. And I'm like, but then we looked at each other and we thought, well, we're only going to die here. You know, we're only going to die where we were. Let's take the jump. And, you know, when I look back, we were out of our minds. I mean, I don't know how we did it. You know,
how big was the Terminal Square store?
Well, they were like 800 or 900 square feet each. So we originally had we took the whole store, and when we were there, Johnny moved out. So we went and took his store, and that's where we started selling clothes. We took over the habiliment. And then there was a record store next to us, and that's a story in the book, a sad story, but he had to close down. And so we took his store, and what we did is we knocked the walls down in the back of each store. So it was like a giant U, and the head shop was in the middle. And, and as I'm reading the book, I'm thinking, we never once got a permit. We never once, Upper Darby never came in for anything, and we're knocking the, and like there's 5 story apartments on top of us, and we're building, you know, changing the building. It was like, but yeah, we had 3 stores at the time. So
that's funny. Wow. So at that point, you guys are like, all right, well, let's go for it. And you go to a store that's more than double what you already had.
Yeah. Downstairs was 2,000 or 3,000 square feet, and upstairs was 2. It was like we were being charged for 5,000 on the lease. But when he wanted us, he want, you know, and we told him, like, we don't, you know, we didn't even have a business plan. You know, we didn't even know, you know, we just went day by day.
Right.
And but he, Honor Constable up on the hill, they closed down a year or 2 before that, and they left all their showcases, all their racks, hangers, everything was there. And he took us up there. He says, take what you want.
Wow.
You know, like, because we could fill that new store was all Honor Constable hardware, except for our counters. We built our own counters for the registers.
I
So,
still remember the yellow countertop.
yeah.
That's so crazy. Now, how about so I guess when you guys moved into that, the plan then that was downstairs was going to be all the clothing, and then upstairs
And
was
I was,
the head
yeah,
shop and music and all.
right,
Yeah.
right. And in
So,
the upstairs, there had been a stock room, and I'd knocked it down, and we built a balcony out. So that's where a
yes.
lot of the albums were.
Hmm.
That because that was a lost space. We really got to use every inch of it. So it
Wow.
was good.
So you guys were in that store for almost 15 years then on Market Street.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We were coming up on our 20th anniversary before we thought we were staying there, but Morris Wilner bought the whole shopping center.
Right.
The old man McClatchy died, and his son tried to keep it up, but he sold it to Morris, and he took us up in his office one day and said he first thing he asked us was, do you have any other locations? And we said no. And I thought, well, he knows now. He thinks this is our bread and butter.
Mm.
And so he tripled our rent. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing this. I mean, because when you have your own place, you're there 9 to 9,
Yeah.
and even if you plan to take time off, somebody, calls out sick, doesn't
Sure.
come in. I thought, I can't work any harder. I can't work any harder. And then there was tension between my brother and I thought, it's time, it's time to give up.
Oh,
So,
how tough is I mean, I hear I don't know if you remember this place. So I guess it was right around the time you closed the store in 1988. April of 88. Yeah, I had just turned 18. April of 88. Um, my sister and I bought Mr. Pizza on Long Lane,
oh yeah, yeah,
and we went into business together, and it was it was a nightmare. It
yeah,
like work being with my sister, and it was just like constant fighting and bickering, and it was just
yeah,
so how tough was that? I mean, you're in business with your brother for many years, so was there a lot of fighting going on between you guys, or
yeah. Yeah, it was. Is you got close because you're there all day long with each other,
hmm
and then afterwards you're supposed to be family
yeah,
and do things or weekends and stuff, and it just got to be. And then when we started, I was 18 years old. I was a
okay,
kid. He's 5 years older than me.
okay,
I changed. I kind of grew up,
yeah,
and I there were a lot of times he resented me. He
mm,
didn't, and it just got bad. But yeah, the but between the drugs, there were a lot of drugs being used at the time, and then you know, he started fooling around, and I had a hard time handling it.
right.
So
It always seemed like to me like when you would go in there, like Buzzy's world was downstairs and Mike's world was upstairs.
correct, correct.
It was literally
Yeah,
like almost two separate worlds.
yeah, yeah. It was, and you know, but it worked for a while. It was really great.
Right.
So
Now, you were saying like when you had this meeting when they wanted to triple the rent, like was it a pretty immediate decision like at that point to close the store, or did you guys think to yourself maybe we could relocate or?
well, at the time, my brother was having an affair with one of the girls working for us.
Oh, okay,
And it just, I mean, his wife at the time was like, and she still is like my sister.
sure,
I loved her. I mean, when she came into our lives, I was like 12 or 13.
okay,
So I grew up with his wife, and and he started running around lying to people,
mm,
and his kids were teenagers then, and they were working at the store in the middle of everything.
right,
And it was like it was like chaos, and we kind of rotated around him.
right,
Don't say anything, don't step on anybody's toes, don't start a fight, you know. But when the lease came down, I said to him, I said, I'll do whatever you want to do. if you want to work hard and keep the business going, I will give it my all.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got to get out of here.
Right.
You want to fool around or you want to go marry the girl, go ahead. But I don't want her in my business no more.
Right.
She was under our, Buzz and I were partners,
Sure.
but she became like the fifth Beatle. It was like a real
Uh,
pain in the ass.
okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, it's not good. That's not good. Now, how about
so,
it seemed like there was always like I remember the time like I kept hearing the rumors like the balcony might close. There's a rumor the balcony's gonna close, and I'm like, nah. I just always remember just saying, nah, not gonna happen, not gonna happen. And a bunch of my friends all worked there at the time, Eddie Gorman and Ronnie Miller and Al Summers, and then they like, and as a matter of fact, at that time I was putting a band together with Al Summers, and I remember Al like called me up. He's like, dude, balcony's closing. I'm like, what? No. He's like, yeah. I was like, well, when are they closing? And your number one objective is I want the Samantha Fox door poster out of the room. And I got it. I had that door poster hanging on my wall for many years.
We saw a lot of that one. That was a good one. Oh my God. Well, I don't remember the rumors, I guess because I was there. Whatever went on between us, I thought we carried it and hid it well.
Right.
Like some of the employees when it came down to it, and we told everybody we're quitting, we're throwing it in because of the rent.
Mm-hmm.
I never let the other stuff get involved,
Sure.
or that wasn't my place to do that at the time. But yeah, no, I didn't know the rumors were there.
Yeah,
So.
I kept hearing, yeah, and I never thought it could truly be true, and then when I was like, oh my God, it was like devastating, and it's weird, like even to this day, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way, and anybody watching or that's going to read the book or any longtime customer, like when you go by that store, and it still has, I think, remained empty, especially the back part for many years, if not forever. I always just like would look at that, like going to a concert or whatever, the tower, or I just think to myself, it's the balcony. There'll never be nothing else but the balcony.
Yeah. Well, I think we all grew up with it. I even grew up from a kid to a man, and a lot of our employees, little Michael, when he started hanging around the store in Terminal Square. He was 14 years old. They lived upstairs, and his mom worked. And so after school, he'd come in the store and get us lunch or dinner. And then all of a sudden he's folding pants. And then all of a sudden he was 18, 19 years old and working for us. There were many stories like that. We all grew up, so, but
yeah,
when I start.
I was gonna say that's funny too. Like how many I know, because I was one of them that would come in every day and ask you for a job. How many people were asking you for jobs every day?
All the time. And Eddie Gorman, I'll tell you, we had this guy Bobby, and Bobby knew Eddie Gorman. So Eddie Gorman would come in all the time and talk to Bobby, and Eddie Gorman wouldn't shut up. I mean, he just talked and talked and
He
talked.
still don't shut up.
And I'm like, Jesus, get out. You were working, and every day he asked me for a job. And I'm thinking, I can't. And, I felt bad because I thought, I can't hire this kid. He's going to talk, So anyway, we were busy I think it was around Christmas time, and we're mobbed. And Eddie comes in, and I said, you still want a job? He says, yeah. I said, well, get behind the counter. And he started selling. He ended up being one of the best employees we ever had. He was really, really a hard worker, a great guy.
Yeah.
And then I'm really proud that he's now got 2 stores of his own.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's really that's a cool story. And little Michael ended up opening a record shop down on 3rd Street in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
I guess they got inspired, You do miss it after you're there all the time. When we closed down, I had to go to malls at Christmas time and just sit and watch the crowd and the music, because I was so used to it after 19 years. A lot of people bitch about, the music, it's busy and stuff. It's like, I love it. I miss it a lot.
Well, I mean, talk about that. Like, when the store closes, like, it's funny. Like, as I was sitting there and I was getting my questions together, I was literally picturing this in my head. Like, I'm picturing, you guys locking that door for the final time, and I'm thinking to myself, this is like almost a TV show. I'm picturing in my head this could have been, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like what are the emotions like when you're doing this for the last time? I mean, and I'll admit, I cry. I constantly cry. I'd still be crying today over it.
Yeah, it was sad that you know, the last thing I left, I had a, picture disc of the dark side of the moon, and we had turned it into a clock, and it hung over our
Yeah.
stockroom.
Uh huh.
And every day somebody wanted to buy it, and I left it there until the night we left, and that's the last thing I took out of the store, and it's hanging right here over my desk now
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
remind me. But it was very sad because to think of what we could have had or could have taken it we're
Mhm.
and the division between my brother and I just killed it. We couldn't do anymore. And
Shame.
so yeah, but it was very sad. It was locking that door and just walking away. It was hard, uh, but when I
So,
did it, I just wanted to get away because I
right.
couldn't dwell on it. I didn't want it to bring me down.
So what did you do after that? Like, did you have a plan in place, or did you take time off just to regroup and figure out what you're going to do? Or
Well, what happened was my wife and I were down the shore with our kids, and I saw this was maybe in 82, and we were down. We had a small house in Sea Isle, and we were on the beach this one summer, and there's all this building going on, and I'm thinking, Jesus, there's all this building going on. What is going on? So I take a bike ride every morning, and I went down and I went into a realtor's office, and I got all these flyers. And a lot of builders were advertising they'll build you a side-by-side house, 4 bedrooms, two baths for $125,000. Two houses.
hmm,
And I'm sitting there thinking, shit, if I had a lot, I could get that built and I could sell one side and pay for the other side. And so that's what we did. Claudia and I took trips down, and we ran into these two women. They had just bought and taken over New Jersey real estate on Landis Avenue in Sea Isle.
okay,
And they were going to do the same thing. So we went together and we interviewed different builders. And it was neat because they were there. They were asking questions that maybe I wouldn't have asked or knew to
hmm,
ask. So we ended up hiring Avalon Builders. We bought a lot and we built this one house on 32nd Street. And I had them both under contract before they were under roof. And I called my accountant and I said, this is great. He says, you can't do that. He says, your capital gains will go through the roof. You sell one and then rent one for a year or two and then you sell it.
mm,
So we did that. And then in 85, I bought another lot and we did it again on 71st Street. And at that time, we were kind of dumb. We were green. We didn't know. We didn't realize that the loan we were taking was drafts. So they gave me money to buy the lot, and then I had to get the house under the foundation, the sticks up. Then they give me another draw, and then they do the interior. Then they give me another draw, and you finish it. So I had 3 or 4 draws, which I didn't realize that each draw was a settlement, and each settlement is a couple $1,000s. And we were young, and we had figured all our dollars out. So at
right.
that point, Claudia said to me, one of us better take a real estate course or get our license to know since we're going to do this. So I went and got my real estate license. And
Ah,
so I had my real estate license like for 3-4 years before we closed the store. And I'm building and selling houses down the shore before we closed the store.
oh
And
wow,
that's why I was so fed up with my brother, because I'm thinking there's so many things he and I could have done if we put our heads together.
right.
That was just one idea we could have done. So when it came down to raise the rent, I'm thinking, shit, I'm making more money. I can make more money building houses or selling
Hmm.
houses or whatever. So that's where I got the balls to stand up and say, I'm out of here. Get rid of her. I'm out of here. I don't need it.
Right.
Now if this is all you got and you want me to stay, I'll stay. But you got to get. So when you say was I kind of shifted into that. So no, I think we closed in May, and then I took off the summer, and then I hung my license in Media, Pennsylvania, at a real estate office, starting Labor Day, and then
Wow.
I just jumped into real estate. So I've been in real estate ever since. I've been in real estate now longer, 32 years, longer than I was in the balcony.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
That's
I
amazing.
feel.
Good for you. Good for you, though, man. That's. I know you've been very good and successful. That's great. It's weird how things work out, though, right?
It is. It is. It's like, I think, some people say you're lucky or something. I think, no, God just gave me the sense that when a door opens to either go through it or don't go through it, and I just been
Mhm.
lucky that I knew what door to go through to keep going.
Absolutely.
So, but if you don't
Now,
try, you don't go.
exactly.
If you don't try
Exactly.
something, you're not going to get nothing, so.
Now, uh, there's a book now. My View from the Balcony. How did this all come about that you decided that I'm going to be an author now and I'm going to write a book?
Well, over the years, this crazy things that Claudia and I would do, we'd say, we should write this down. No one's going to believe us. And then with the balcony, it's like, no one's going to believe us, what some of the stuff we went through. And it was always something people would say to do, but I never took it serious. But I just got really, really mad when I saw my brother's obituary. They didn't mention my parents. They didn't mention my older brother, John. They didn't mention Buzzy's first son and daughter from his first marriage. They didn't mention his grandchildren, but they
Wow.
mentioned all her family, all her sisters, all her brother-in-laws who aren't even blood. And then it says Buzzy was the founder and owner of the balcony, and not co-owner with Jimmy and Mike or anything. And I said, screw you. Somebody has to set this straight. She's just screw you. And that's the truth. I thought I just got so mad. I just thought, all right, I'm going to do it, And so every morning I went to Starbucks with a notebook and I wrote and wrote until I had an appointment. And then I go sell a house or do something. And then I come home and then I transpose it into my laptop. And for 2.5 years, I carried this around. This was supposed to be the original cover. And it's like 350 pages. I just
Oh
typed
my
and
God.
typed and typed. And then I have a daughter, my oldest, Renee, who lives in New York. I would send her 20, 30 pages and she'd edit it, and I hated it because she'd send it back with all these red marks and cross it out. I think, oh, great. We paid for college and you're giving me red marks. Thanks. So yeah, I wrote it out of anger, and I don't know if that's nice to say or not, but that was the God's honest truth. It was like, and it was good. It was a cleansing. I got a lot of shit out of me. It was
I'm
really good,
sure.
because you put up with stuff or you go along with stuff, and it's like, hey, But I told some good stories in it. I talked about the time I peed on Meatloaf's feet. Honest to God, good story in the book. Buy the book.
Is this in the store or at a concert?
No, well, out of nowhere, Philadelphia put an ad in the paper. They were having a rock and roll convention, flea market convention, and they
Okay.
were going to have guest rock and roll stars to sign autographs and stuff. And so I rented a table. And at the time, I was taking photographs at the Tower Theater. The guys would let me in, and I'd take photos. And I developed them at night and then sell the pictures the next day in the store.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'm going to take a table, and I took a bunch of bootlegs down, which I wasn't sure about taking the bootlegs because I didn't know if the artists are going to be there if I get busted. But I took 2 cases of bootlegs, and I took my photos and posters. And my sister-in-law went with me, Leslie, and we spent the weekend there. And the one day I went into the men's room, and I realized this big guy came up next to me, and I didn't, and then all of a sudden I hear somebody saying, "Can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph?" I'm like, "What do you?" And I kind of looked, and I went, "Oh my God, it's Meatloaf." So then then the guy puts his hand between us with a pen for Meatloaf to sign. And so I turned to look like,
Oh.
and I'm like, oh my God, I'm being on his video. I turned away, I'm like, oh my God. I just zipped up. I thought, I'm getting out of here. Because I knew he was mad already. The guy's bothering him. I think, I'm not being on his feet, No, yeah. So that's how that
That's
happened.
so
That was a
funny.
good story.
So that
Yeah.
when you talk about now, and I've seen on your website a lot of your concert shots. So the ones that were in the store were, I guess, were they your shots then?
Oh
Because I
yeah, they're
remember.
all mine. Yeah,
Okay,
most of
now it,
them.
it
Yeah,
just hit me. I remember now, in front of the register upstairs, on a stand, you guys had a book of 8x10s of concert shots.
yeah. Majority of them are mine.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
I won in Circus Magazine. They put my David Bowie photo there. I won Best Portrait the one year, and they had a once a year they have a photo contest for the fans to send in stuff. So I was very proud of that. That was a really good shot. That was one of my favorites.
That's
So,
amazing.
and
Wow.
I won something for a Bruce Springsteen one too. And I didn't really think that was a good shot, and I still won a prize for that in one of the contests. But yeah, I did a lot. When I started writing the book and I started realizing I had to do the photos, I went down. I said I'd build a dark room in my house. We used to live in Drexel Hill, and I take the pictures at night at the shows, and then come home and process them. So
That's amazing. Now, how about, I mean, being the fact that you guys, for 3/4 of the existence of the balcony were right across basically from the tower. Did you guys get a lot of like, the rock and rollers coming in and out, or
we had Bob Marley come in.
wow.
His one of his crew came over. It might have been right before dinner time, and said that he wanted to come over. Could we, let him come over and not have so much any fanfare. So
Hmm.
we closed the store down, and he came in with his brother, his son, and 3 or 4 members of the band,
Wow.
and they spent about $400 or $500. But when we had a smoking area. Do you remember the big star at the bottom of the steps? We built a star for our theme was like stars, and it was an ashtray. So one of
Okay.
his crew goes over and pulls out this humongous joint. And he starts smoking and passing it around, and it stunk. I mean, I've never had that kind of but for days we were airing the store out because of this smell. It was really, and I was wasted. It was like, and I had tickets, and I sat next to his mother. It's a show because they gave me like a first or second row seat, and
Wow.
I've got my camera with a long lens, and I'm thinking I'm trying to go and take pictures and make money off of this, and I was sitting next to his mother. I felt a little weird, but I got some good shots. It was a good concert.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Now,
and
how
I
about
think that was the only time he ever came to our area that I can remember. I don't think he ever really toured like the other bands did.
like the whole the bootlegs? Like you guys were selling bootlegs. Did you guys ever get in trouble for that?
No, we never got in trouble for the bootlegs, but we did get in trouble for bootlegging or selling bootleg Gucci and Polo transfers on the
Oh, right,
shows.
right. Okay.
Yeah, the FBI came in one day, and that's a good story in the book. That was a good story because we used to print our own shirts
Yes.
in the basement, and so we had these racks to dry the shirts, and we had a lot of stock room down there, and so I would keep the transfers down there and
Mm.
for iron on, but the basement door was a trap door, and it sat right next to that smoking area star. you
Okay.
had to you had to step on that door to get to our office, and
Okay.
whenever I step on it, I could feel it, under your
Uh,
feet. So the FBI came in the back of the store, and she told me we're here for the Gucci, and so I picked up the intercom phone, and I said to Buzz, I said, make sure the basement door is closed. Don't open the basement door. The FBI's here. Because we weren't making them, but I
right.
thought if she goes down there, they're going to think we are.
Yeah.
because we had ink for the trains, our own ink. So they went through the store. They dug, and they couldn't find anything. Then they wanted to go in the office. And I went, oh shit, we got to go under that door. But they went in and they made me open the safe,
Oh wow.
and but they didn't see the door. Then so they fined it. I had to pay $1,000 fine and not sell them anymore.
How
So
scary is that? Because there was a couple occasions when you guys had the FBI coming in there. Like, how scary of a situation is that?
in the book I write, we were young and dumb, and we weren't dumb, but we were dumb enough not to be scared.
Right.
We took chances that maybe we wouldn't take today, or we wouldn't want our kids to take.
Sure.
But yeah, we did. We took a lot of crazy chances, and and one time we got a letter to cease and assist from selling Rolling Stones T-shirts, and it was Michael Jagger, and Keith Richards was written on the suit. I'm like, oh wow, let's go to court with see Mick Jagger.
Yeah. Right.
That's how dumb I was. I thought, oh yeah, we'll go. But yeah, that was
Oh my
another, and
god.
we really weren't bootlegging there. I was buying their shirts from Winterland in California, but I think they were just sending out a blanket because they were getting ready to tour. So they were canvassing all the stores, trying to scare them.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I got my first concert shirt there, an Ozzy Osbourne Diary of a Madman shirt. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show everybody. Like I showed you before we went live. I still have albums I got from the balcony. Like here's one that Mike ordered for me personally. But and here, my very first bootleg I got
Oh
Ozzy
my
and Randy
God.
Rhoads, and I have a bunch of other classics here. Like I mean, such amazing things. And how about another thing um, that I thought was genius? I remember when this started happening, and you guys were doing this. I was like, this is the most genius idea ever. When you guys started selling video games, and then you started charging everybody a quarter to play.
Well, that happened. That came because we got busted for selling pipes. Pennsylvania, it was coming down. Like for 3-4 years, you'd hear that Harrisburg and whatever, they were coming up with a new anti-drug paraphernalia law, and it was going to make it harder for head shops to sell pipes and papers. So 3 days after the law passed, and I think that was 82, 83, we got busted. So we had to stop selling them. So that's when I was reaching for straws. I was selling bootleg Cabbage Patch dolls. We were doing the video games. I just wanted to sell something, so it was crazy.
I
Yeah.
forgot all about the Cabbage Patch dolls. That's right.
Yeah, we had them in a plastic bag, and they were horrible, and people were buying them. It was like, okay, but the real ones were like $30, $40, $50 back then, and
Right.
so
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
we
funny.
sold a lot of stuff.
That is so funny. Now, here's a little snippet. And I think this kind of like I'm gonna read this. This describes the book, and this just makes you want to buy the book. If you would have thought partying, drug use, a stolen car, a buyout, bootleg albums, marriages, the FBI, women, death, 2 new neighboring malls, additions, a move, a divorce, bootleg T-shirts would have brought them down, but it didn't. The balcony survived 19 years. I mean, come on.
It
This
did.
this needs to be, I'm telling you, a TV show. This needs to be a Netflix series.
Well, from your ears to God, or whatever they say, your mouth to God. I'm sorry.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get on this. I mean, come on. Where's Jamie Kennedy? I'm friends with Jamie. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna send him over get this book and get this made. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm game.
Too funny. Too funny.
Yeah.
Now the book is the book actually. I mean, you have your copy, but is the book actually out?
It is you can get it on Kindle today,
Okay.
and you can pre-order it, and it ships on the 20th.
Okay.
So, and I don't know why it. I thought everything was going to come out in the same day, and because when they put it up that the Kindle was available on Friday the 13th, I wasn't ready with the website. And in the book and in the Kindle, it's saying go to the website, go to the website for this, go to the website. So we spent one weekend with the two girls that helped me put the website together, and we threw it together because we thought we had another month, But
Mm,
it is a pain because so many people I work with, and where's the book? Where's the book? And I got 25 copies for promos,
okay.
so I'm holding it or giving it to people who like the newspaper and people that say they know somebody that they can pass it on to. I'm trying to get the word out just to take advantage of it. Um, but it got so many hits on Amazon that Barnes and Noble got it. So
Oh,
Barnes and
nice.
Noble is selling it, and then they made it for the month of August. One of the 10 picks of the month,
Great.
and so that got a lot of interest going. So it's like I just like to keep the ball rolling and see how far we can take it.
That's awesome. Did you
And we have wine.
come on? Stop
And I
it.
want I wanted to send you. I got three kinds. I got Moscato, and we've got Merlot, and we've got Zinfandel, California White Zinfandel. These friends of mine make wine, and about a year ago, I said to them, "If I get this book together, come out, can I commission you to get me some wine for promotion?" So that night, they designed the bottle, they designed the label, and they sent it to me. And I thought, oh, I guess they want to do it. So it's.
Wow.
But then I find out it's illegal to mail it,
Yeah.
and you really can't sell it unless you have a license. So what I'm trying to do is we're going to try and put together something for the website. The book's going to ship on the 20th, so that's like the real date.
Okay.
So I want to put together something like if you show me that you bought the book and a T-shirt, I'll drop off a bottle of wine to you. But it has to be people local that I can drop it off to because I can't mail it to them, and I'm
When you
not
come into
selling it.
Nash when you come into Nashville.
Yeah, but so what I've got to tweak it and get the idea going so that we can. And I know a lot of people have already bought it or ordered the book. So, and the T-shirt orders have been coming in since the newspaper, the Daily Times, put
Mhm.
a 2 or 3 page article out, and so I've been getting a lot of orders for the T-shirts. So
Is all this like it's got to be shocking to you?
yeah, I was really surprised. Because that was there when I was writing it, and I sent it to my daughter. I said, Renee, just tell me, like, am I wasting my time? Is this silly? And the beginning, a lot of it she didn't know about because she wasn't born yet.
Right. Right.
So I trusted that she could look at it like somebody like you or somebody that didn't know anything about it,
Mhm.
and that's where I got a lot of positive feedback from her. And but during the time, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I don't know, should I keep doing it? And then for people to respond so well to it, I'm it's really very nice. I'm very happy with it. So I just don't know where it'll go. Like,
Y- I it could go. That's the thing. It could go. So
yeah.
I hope you have a seatbelt on.
Yeah, I would be very nice. I'd like that. Yeah. And we got so many stories. Like 'cause somebody wrote in the reviews, somebody said, I'm waiting for the sequel." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I held back on a lot of stuff because I didn't really want to, you know, even
Really?
yeah. Well, even with my wife at the time, some of the stuff we did, and she's working a really respectable job and everything, and I didn't know if she wanted her coworkers to know what we did back then, or
Right.
so, even myself. And I thought I'm gotten to the age where I don't care, because people know me, and if and they didn't know that, Mike. And if it bothers you, too bad. That was my life back then.
I'll tell you what, you look great. Like you look like you haven't aged since the last time I saw you in 1989.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, my daughter sells skin stuff. This is how you, if you want her contact information, email me.
Oh, that's so funny. Now, are you going to have a way, or like, you going to do like any signings or anything, possibly, or?
I was thinking about it once it's released. I'm going this coming week after we get over the holiday. I'm going to start visiting some of the local bookstores
Nice.
and see if I can arrange to get them in there. And I was going to print up some of the article, and so that maybe they could display it with the book or whatever.
Sure.
And I don't know if they'd work with me or do it, but I'm going to go knock on doors and see what I can get going. And in that way, yeah, you know. And when I got the wine, when I started getting the wine, I thought we would have a party or something.
Right.
But last year we had the COVID, and now this year, when I thought we might be in the clear, we've got the COVID. So
Right.
I don't know how much to do or how big of a thing I can do. So
Yeah, that's
we'll
the thing.
see.
Weird times.
But
Weird, weird times.
I'll let you know. You could come over and we can enjoy it.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. It's this is you made me feel 19 again.
Oh, there you go. And that's good. That's good.
So what's the best way for everybody to get the book? Where should we send them? I know you have a website too, you were saying.
Well, the website is myviewfromthebalcony.com. And then the email, if you want to email me to contact me about the wine or the shirts or whatever, it's myviewfromthebalcony@gmail.com. So it's really easy, either .com or gmail.com. My view from the balcony.
It's amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get the book.
Well, let me know what you think.
I will. Oh, I absolutely will.
And write a review on Amazon or whatever, because that helps.
Yes.
That keeps the interest going for them. They keep me up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I check it every day.
Everybody write a review, especially on Amazon, because that helps the whole thing get up there, helps the algorithms. It's how everything works. Reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me know. I'll get a bottle of wine to you. Write me a review. There you go. We'll make a deal.
I have a little cup of wine right now. So, Mike, this is again amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm happy to talk to you. I want to see this. I'm telling you, I want to see this as a show. I think there's a show here. I really do.
Well, I have a friend that is really into Broadway, and I sent him the copy before it was printed, and he'd read a chapter and he'd call me back. Oh my god, this should be a show. This should be. I was like, okay. I just want you to tell me what you think of the book. Let me know. So, but yeah, I've heard that a couple of times. So that's exciting. So
do you think you would write another book? Like, would you really do a sequel?
Well, what I've been doing is I've been writing about what it's like releasing it. And the letters I've gotten from people, and because I didn't know how to just jump into a sequel, but I thought, well, I can write down what's going on and how it's happening. I mean, I'm getting letters from people that knew my children, my wife, whatever, and so I'm just taking it all down and somehow maybe tying it into something else. We'll see, and but the feedback's been very positive, and I'm really it's very nice. It just feels good.
That's amazing. One question too, going back to your brother Buzzy. Was your guys' relationship ever the same afterwards? Did you guys ever repair the friend, like the brotherhood? It sounds like by the obituary that it was not.
It after we closed down, he started doing rehabbing houses. He'd buy sheriff sales and rehab them. And I made a contact with Freddie Mac, and I started doing a lot of their foreclosure work in Delaware County.
Okay.
And I got him a lot of work. he could go in and clean the houses out. If they needed rugs, painting, whatever, he would go in and rehab them.
Okay.
And so we worked together like that.
Mm.
And and it was really healthy because it was nice. If something went wrong with the building, I could pick up the phone and he'd run over and fix it. So there was about a 4 or 5 year period where I thought, wow, this is nice.
Right.
And it was what I wanted. I thought, well, if we get rid of the store, maybe we can rebuild our relationship.
Right.
But still, the tension with the one person, the other person there, it was just really hard. There was a pulling away. She wanted, and it was hard for him to be friends with me because of that dynamic.
Right.
And and so it knocked everything off kilter. But we tried. We did try. And then at the very end, I think that there was resentment and anger and that I couldn't fix it. It wasn't my, what are you going to do?
Right.
But I was very sad. It was,
Sure.
Yeah.
Life is, when it comes to, especially to family, it's, we all have, stories like that. I'm sure. I know I have one as well. It's just weird the way things happen and work out. And, what's that old saying? You can pick your friends, but not your family.
Family. Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. It's like, it's a shame. I mean, we had a lot going and we could have done more. And, but you can't look back. I think, you make the best of what you got. And we both tried.
Do you think, like looking back now, taking that whole dynamic that was going on there, but the balcony in general, do you think it would have worked through the 90s with the change in the whole change in everything going on in the 90s, especially like into the 2000s? Like, how far do you think the balcony would have ended up lasting?
Well, we would go to the shows in New York and we went to shows in California, and it was easy to stay on top of the styles and things coming. So we could have kept that going. And I thought with my niece and nephew working for us, and then my daughters coming up, I thought they would be incorporated into the business with us somehow.
Right.
And that younger gene would keep us youthful and going on. So I really felt that we could have done it. And Michelle, my one niece, she was just fabulous. She could manage and do a lot. So we could have opened other stores. The kids could have managed and kept us going. We could have had a really nice time where everybody could have contributed and felt good about it and felt good about what they were doing, and instead of what was really happening. There was that pulling apart there. But that's what I see now. When I do look back, though, and you see like the Gap, and I often wonder, well, would we have been the Gap? Would we have, flipped into those things, and kept it going? So, but when, who knows, but we had something special. It was really great.
It was. It was truly magical. It was a magic thing, from in my point of view, like from what I experienced, through the late 70s through to the closing. And now I'm learning all about this early history, which really has me even more intrigued. And people really need to go on the website too, because the pictures you have, and it's a lot of older pictures from, when you guys opened up through the 70s and going into the Market Street store, are great pictures. And I can't wait to see the pictures in the book.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. How many pages is the book?
260.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
2.5 years. Writing and rewriting. And there's still, I wanted to have a contest because every proof I had to approve. I thought I approved the one proof and it was done. Then I get another one for the ebook. And when it came to me, everything that I'd approved had been moved around because of the programming. I don't know, oh my God. So then I would do that. And then I get another proof for the Kindle. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's all shift. So the final, there's about 7 or 8 misspells, and there's lines where they're not supposed to be, and there's little Michael's picture is under my picture, and the you know the wording, and I'm like, and that day I just thought, I don't care. Just put it out. If they don't understand what I'm saying or what it is, and I don't care, get it out there. So
That's great. That's great. Nice. All right. Well, everybody, they need to go to My View from the Balcony. Check out the website. A lot of great memories. You can get shirts, and eventually, possibly, there's going to be a plan with the wine, but there's links on there to get the book. It's going to be available. You can pre-order it now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Go there and make sure you leave reviews, because reviews
yeah,
boost the sales and the algorithm and everything else.
yeah.
Mike, thank you so much for doing this. We're friends again, and I got to find some old pictures of myself. So I'm sure once
I
you see
want
old
to see
pictures of
them.
me, you'll be
I
like,
want to see them.
"Oh my god!" So every day, I'd come home from school, and I lived on Hampton Road, right over by St. Alice. So I'd walk straight up Hampton Road and come in the back door to the balcony, and I'd meet up with Al Summers and my buddy Harry and Anthony, and we would meet there, and we would do our shopping for the day and be buying pins and albums or whatever we'd be buying. And then we'd leave there and we'd go walk over. We go over to Lou's pawn shop and look and see what new guitars they got in. And then we go over to get a slice of pizza from Leandro's. And then we go next door to Sound of Upper Darby, see what they got. And then that was our day, every day.
Wow. Oh, I must know who the picture.
Oh,
Send me
yeah.
a picture.
I'm telling you, absolutely. As soon as you stand me, you'll be like, I remember him. Yeah.
Now, did you talk a lot like Eddie?
No. No. I was never annoying like Eddie.
Because I remember you if it was,
I was usually pretty quiet. Here a funny story about Eddie. So Eddie's a year younger than me. He was a year under me in St. Alice, and like 10, 11 years ago, Jamie Kennedy came into Philly to do a stand up, and a bunch of us from St. Alice all got together, and me and Eddie and Ronnie Miller as well. We were 3 out of like 10 of us, and we all went to go see Jamie. And we get together with Jamie afterwards, and we're hanging out. And Eddie is being Eddie, and he's talking and talking and talking. And at one point, it's funny because there was a picture. I wish I had the picture. And we were walking through Center City somewhere, and you just see Jamie turn around like he wanted to smack Eddie because Eddie just wouldn't shut up.
And I hired him.
And I was like, you hired Eddie over me. How did this happen?
It was right time at the right place or whatever, I
Exactly.
needed somebody to get behind the counter. Come on.
That's funny. I could like still picture Eddie back behind those doing the iron-ons every day.
Oh God.
That's funny. Well, Mike, thanks again for doing this. This was
Thank
amazing. You. And yeah, we'll be in touch. We got to definitely keep in touch now.
Cool. I look forward to it. And thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
This is great. All right. Have a great night. And everybody, myviewfromthebalcony.com, and go see Mike and buy that book. You'll be happy.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.